In fiction and in reality, the Crocodile has generated some amazing Australian characters. Think Dundee and Irwin. And there's another you should know, the Barefoot Bushman. Rob Bredl is a shoeless showman who relies on the science of animal behaviour to ride on the backs of monster crocs, all the while insisting that playing with them is not as dangerous as it looks. That's a position he still holds, even though last year one of his beloved animals grabbed him in a death roll and tried to eat his arm. He spent months in hospital and in recovery. Now battered but fit again, the Barefoot Bushman can't wait to get back on the croc.
This is where he is.
This is where he is, and that's right where it happened.
And this is where I am.
Right where it happened.
Behind
right
you, my friend. Now, you're not...
1 year after the event, Rob Bredl is returning to the scene of his near-death experience and is about to confront the monstrous predator that almost took his life.
My God!
Come on. Come on, yeah.
So I'm assuming you can't leap from here.
No, leg's too short.
Whoa, Jesus! I'm sorry about all that.
But that's a snap.
This is Bredl's Wild Farm in Queensland, a wilderness paradise and private wildlife park run by Rob Bredl and his family.
So how long's this water been here?
About 20 years, as far as I can make out. We've been here for just over 10 years. It's 7 acres when it's full, 7 acres of water. A little bit of kakadu in our backyard.
Look at the manifest variety of creatures.
Ridiculous, yes. It's amazing.
Terrific bird life.
Oh, very much so.
Today is Rob's first time back at work since he nearly lost his arm a year ago.
I'm wearing the boots, you'll notice. A pair of good solid Blunson boots.
That won't help you. Yeah.
Boots, just like fear, are something Rob Bredl cast aside long ago. The Barefoot Bushman is cool as a bush cucumber. He's had too many close encounters.
Matter of fact, one of my crocs got me one day through here, and if I'd have had boots on, he'd have had me.
Oh, really?
He would have had, his teeth would have hooked into the boot,
Oh,
where his tooth went straight through there and just let me go, you know. So if I'd had boots on that day, I'd have one leg missing and I'd have one arm.
Well, I thought I was good with my steel cap.
Won't help you.
Have you always been the Barefoot Bushman?
Yeah. Yeah, we invented it.
Since childhood?
Pretty well. We used to wear shoes to go to school, but other than that, we didn't wear shoes too often. And we went bush a lot with the old man because he was out chasing snakes and stuff, like King Browns lived in the desert.
The Bredl family have worked with dangerous animals for 3 generations. Rob's dad, Joseph, collected snakes. And his childhood home in South Australia was more like a menagerie.
We had just about everything because back then nothing was protected. The old man went down south, brought back a penguin, we had a penguin. I loved eagles. I had a pet wedge-tailed eagle that I could sit on my arm. Didn't like some people, he'd get up him, but other than that I was good with him, yeah.
Tell me about your relationship with the crocodile, the most ferocious creature, I think, in this nation.
Yeah, well, on the planet almost, you could say. My dad got one when I was 9, and we believed everything we'd heard about them, and we created a monster out of him.
What size was he when you got him?
4 foot. And the funny thing about it, when the old man brought it home from Queensland in 1959, he had nowhere to put it, no heating, nothing. So Mum had to cook. She had a wood stove. There was a box with a taipan in it, and blocked off either side, and the crocodile was laying between her and the stove in the kitchen. She had to cook over a taipan and a crocodile.
In the 70s, Rob and his dad set up a farm in the Gulf of Carpentaria and caught crocodiles with the locals. He took to filmmaking and soon became an international documentary star, the Barefoot Bushman.
If you do get attacked, always keep a tree between you and the crocodile. The crocodile.
Better known overseas as a mad Aussie riding crocodiles.
This reptilian beast that lives in tropical waterways often strikes fear into people's hearts.
Whoa, Jesus! I'm sorry about all that.
But that's a snap.
But last year, just after one of his live shows at Bredl's Wild Farm, Rob made a near-fatal error with this 4.5 metre croc named Tripod.
Now, if that actually snaps on you, and he didn't snap when he bit me, he just grabbed me.
Oh, God! Bloody hell, do that again. Oh. What went wrong the
Well,
last
what went
time?
wrong the other time, he was up a bit higher than that, and I went like that, and he actually got a piece of meat between the two teeth on the bottom.
Yes.
And normally I'd close his eyes or just flick it out with the piece there, and for that day I went down and just went to flick it, but I
Really?
didn't close his eyes, yeah.
Well, that's what you call a brain fart.
That's what I call a brain fart.
Because that was the most stupid thing you could do.
Oh, definitely. What? Listen to this.
Oh, that's a pig's head.
Yeah. That's what my hands sound like when it crunch. Yeah.
He still doesn't really know why he used his hand to floss a piece of meat stuck in the crocodile's teeth.
I just had just a brain fart.
In nature, of course, one mistake.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
He just bit through my hand. And of course, whoops, I knew what happened then. And I knew that they go for another bite. And when he goes for the next bite, I was going to take it out, but I think those two teeth that went through the bottom were hooked in too tight.
Yes.
So when I pulled back, I must have pulled against them and didn't get it out. And he lunged forward slightly and he got me higher. And then he started to back off into the water. Now, he's 650 kilos, I'm only 80, so I ain't going to win a tug of war.
No.
Lucky for Rob, his capable and laconic nephew Zeb, who is also an experienced croc man-minder, was in the enclosure.
I thought, geez, we're in a bad situation here. He backed into the water when he had hold of him on the hand. And then Robert started to panic because if we ended up in there, we're in big trouble. And he actually pulled on it a bit, and then that's when he rolled on his hand.
What do you mean rolled on his hand?
Did the so-called death roll.
Then he just went into the roll, and as he went to the roll, I heard it. I could see 4 teeth through the top, 2 through the bottom there, and I could see my hand. I was actually looking, I could see the hand starting to tear off. Second time around, I thought if he goes a third time, that's in my brain, I've lost my hand. So I in my mind, I went to roll with him. And somehow that puts me over his head, and then I must have been in a bit of shock. He lets go. I don't even know he lets go. Next thing I look, I just see this big head come over and bite on my leg, and I said to myself, I thought, expletive, you know, this is not good. And then he lets go. Zeb had actually had his big stick in, he shoved it down his throat.
I think he was actually thinking he was fighting another male crocodile. And when he come back in for that second bite, it gave me time. I actually jammed the stick down his throat. And when he come in, he just bit Robert just on the leg, just touched him and then let him go. I actually pushed him off, and then it gave me time to grab onto Robert there and help him to get up out of the water. Because we ended up in the pond there with him.
Zeb grabs me and pulls me up, and I walk out.
Well done, Zeb.
Well done, Zeb. Yeah, that's what I got him for.
A popular conservationist known as the Barefoot Bushman has been attacked by a crocodile at his wildlife farm in North Queensland.
Suffering severe damage to his left hand, puncture wounds to his lower right leg.
The photos are gruesome, but this is about nature in the raw. And such an attack usually ends in death for the crocodile's prey.
And Robert was real lucky. I thought there that he had made an error that it was going to cost him his life. And we were just lucky enough to get him out of there.
Coming up, saving the Barefoot Bushman's hand.
She's nearly as sore as it was when it happened.
And is this croc-riding cowboy ready to get back in the saddle?
Are you getting back on the crocodile?
Come on, yes.
That's next on 60 Minutes.